Welcome, fight fans. We are so happy you are here with us because, man, do we have a lot to talk about on today's show. We bagged a cycle, kind of. We'll get to that in a moment, I'm sure, at UFC 326 last week. Charles Oliveira ruined the BMF belt, which sucks because I love Charles, but now there are a lot of people that are mad at him in that spot. We got 14 fights coming this weekend at UFC Vegas 114, Matty. So we got a lot of pieces and parts moving here in the UFC world, and especially in our landscape. So I guess I'm going to bring you in and I'm going to ask you, how you doing?
I've been better, bro. I've been better. I'm surviving. I can't believe I didn't bet the show cycle parlay. Cost me would have made me 120 grand if I just bet it. And I didn't bet it, and I'm sick about it.
Well, I want to take people through your mental Rolodex every week, as you are so obsessed with making the cycle absolutely perfect that you run through thousands of combinations in your head, I'm sure, of what you want to look for at the right angle. So we come up with one on Wednesday, which I played. It was Drew Dober KO, Cody Garbrandt. You know what? Actually, instead of me talking about it, why don't we just play it?
I'm closing my eyes though. Be approved by you. That's the key here. Let's go Montez by sub plus 275. Let's go. Do I dare go Cody G by decision plus 300?
I like that.
RoboCop KO plus 165, 38-1.
Oh, did it freeze? Did I freeze?
No, it must have froze. I don't know what.
Oh, that's okay. I wanted to play that to just show.
We could have put both KOs in there, and both would have hit.
Yeah, how dialed we were that we were debating between RoboCop KO and Dober KO for a few cents, and both of them hit consecutively. And I got to be honest, I think the RoboCop one was more sick. That was like a one punch and go, one hitter quitter. By the way, I after we left, I gave out Drew Dober as an underdog, and I guess we had a rigged fight with Michael Johnson's family in question. Like, we had something going on there that I saw on Twitter that was a little bit weird as well. So, man, it just a weird week where it feels like a lot of UFC outcomes are trending toward decisions. It feels like the sort of finishing outcomes, despite what we would think with the bonuses, just haven't seemed to come yet. Maybe it will come as we get more of these Apex cards, more inexperienced people, but just a lot of weird outcomes. Oliveira decision last week, 12-1, right?
Yeah, I could have just looked the fight to go the distance. I would have had to put probably 500 more bucks on it. It would have paid the same.
Yeah. It was really shocking in real time because nobody had ever fought Max Holloway that way.
Dude, Max escaped some of those chokes, dude, and then
yeah,
like a bulldog choke. There was the rear naked choke. I mean, he escaped all of them. I don't know how. Every time I was hoping he would just put me out of my misery.
I was actually following along on the live stream with you, bro. I saw the light go out of your eyes when you were starting to do some math on the scorecards, and you're like, I don't even know if it's possible with the 10-8.
You know what's crazy is I could have got 2 10-8 rounds in a row, and there's no way they would have gave 2 10-8s out. It would have never happened.
Yeah, but that was a totally different fight. Honestly, I think the weirdest part of the fight is that if Oliveira had stood and banged, I still think he would have won. So I wonder why he took such a conservative approach, but Holloway's a dangerous guy, and that's how he could win. But we gotta, can we at least get to the fights before we got the super chat reads? You guys are coming fast and furious with these, and we love that you have it. But we got 14 fights here, UFC Vegas 114. Back at the Meta Apex, we got Kevin Vachejos in the main event that we'll get to at the end of today's show. I'm going to introduce this first fight, and then we'll read this super chat that Boogie's Bomb sent us because we appreciate you doing so. We got Piera Rodriguez, Sam Hughes, too, the Apex special. In this one, these ladies fought in 2022, Matty, at strawweight. So now let's go ahead and read the super chat.
You read it, bro. I can't even do it right now.
Matty's spirits are down a little bit. I'll go for it. We got Vitor Petrino, round 1 sub. Rahiki by KO or decision, and Vallejos by decision, 36-1 flat. I don't hate that per se. We'll get to the Marwan Rahiki fight on the main card coming off the Contender Series, and our guy Vitor Petrino taking on fan favorite Steven Asplund. So that's some of the fun to come. By the way, my overall thoughts on this card for an Apex card, I actually think it's not bad.
Yeah, it's solid for sure.
Yeah, I mean, by these standards, it's like a gold event. So, what do you think in this first fight, Matty? With I got Pierre back minus 162, and then Sam Hughes coming back on the other side, 126, a little bit of an underdog.
I have no fucking clue, bro. I'm so out of it right now. I think Sam Hughes is a live dog, but maybe on the scorecards. But that's all I got for you, bro.
Yeah, I was able to model this guy with the sample. It felt weird doing so because if you remember in these ladies' first fight in 2022, Rodriguez landed 5 takedowns. She had a positive striking differential. She really won a unanimous decision. And so it's interesting to me to see these odds so close. Now they are getting a little bit wider. It was closer to a pick 'em, but I have it almost 50-50. Like I've got Rodriguez 50.1% here. So Hughes at 49.9%. You take your fighter. Obviously, Sam is going to be the play at these particular odds, but it keeps getting bigger. So I've kept waiting to play her. A lot of people do bet the same outcomes in UFC rematches. So the most popular prop here by a mile is going to be Rodriguez decision. They can't forget what they saw the first time, but honestly feel like Hughes has improved a lot since that first fight. I think she's kind of found her identity in this division, which is I'm going to pace. I'm going to run a rampant pace around these girls where a lot of them cut weight and a lot of them cut a lot of weight. And if I could just keep a pace really high, I think she ran track, if I'm not mistaken, in either college or high school. She's a great athlete. And she's kind of figured that out. And Rodriguez is someone we've seen maybe slow down a little bit later in fights. And Sam didn't push a very high pace in that first one. I wonder if she does turn it around and push a better pace this time. And her takedown defense and her submission offense have both improved on paper, at least since then. So, yeah, I think Sam's a live dog here.
You ready for this? Sam Hughes round 2 sub is 40-1. Round 3 is 30-1.
Yeah. I don't know if I can.
Drops down 10-1 odds from round 2 to 3. That just shows the path.
Really?
Yeah, that's
so they're playing the cardio angle.
Coffee Hernandez props where the number goes down later in the fight. Bro, I think Sam Hughes round 3 subs at dinner, and the more I think about it.
Yeah. I might honestly play this fight to start 3, bro, because I'm actually, and this never happens, right? My model usually works within certain parameters. I've got this fight minus 429 to go the distance. It's only minus 370. I think I'd rather play starts round 3 than the whole total because I am afraid of that late gas out with Sam. But I feel like a vast majority of the times this is at least a 10-minute fight.
For sure.
Yeah, sorry guys, I banned call-ins on this show. You guys would drive me crazy with your chalk parlays and your film analysis.
Friday, boys.
Yeah, call-in show Hey Jive Friday, Matty and Hey Jive on Longshots only on Friday. All right, we'll move on here. We got quite a few prelims to get through, so we'll want to keep a pretty brisk pace. I also a flu game for you, boy. I really tried this week. I was in bed like 14 hours on Monday, so I got behind on my research, and we just got a big super chat from someone. Make sure you throw the parlay on there too, brother. If you're paying for it, you got to throw the parlay on there.
Yes, sir. Thank you for the donation.
Yeah, we appreciate it. Or if not, we appreciate the support, all of you guys. By the way, if you're tuned in, we appreciate likes and shares and all of that stuff as well. Maybe if Matty will let me later on the show, I can plug something else that I got going on, a cool project that came out for me today.
I need 1,000 more of these super chats to break even on the cycle parlay.
1,000 more of the super chats. We'll be back where we would have with the cycle parlay in 20. Oh, okay. We got you want to flash that one up, Matty? That's his long shot. We got Steven Asplin KO, oral by decision, Jillian Robertson sub, a good old fashioned cycle.
That just gave me a little bit of life back in me right there. 55-1.
I got to see what I got oral by.
Asplin fight, bro.
Yeah, I can't wait to talk to you about the Asplin fight as well. He's one of the most popular guys on the roster right now. Vitor Petrino is a guy that I think a lot of people know is very talented. It's kind of a weird fight like that they would ruin one of those guys' momentum, but we'll talk about it in a minute. First up, though, bantamweight, we got Elijah Smith taking on Jiu-Jitsu, Su Young Yu. Both of these guys off to a nice start. Elijah came off the Contender Series, and Su Young Yu coming off road to UFC, Matty. Elijah's minus 225 in this spot. I think it has a little something to do with that highlight he put out there for us last time. So what do you think of this matchup, man?
No, I think he's a good favorite, bro. This guy Jiu-Jitsu doesn't fucking use Jiu-Jitsu. I think I've lost on sub prop once or twice already.
It's me that keeps talking you into it.
Frustrating thing ever. So he's dead to me. I think Elijah wins this one easily, bro. 30-27 or maybe like a round 2-3 KO here. I like Elijah Smith. I think he's just too explosive for him.
Yeah, explosive is a great word. I mean, when you look at the athletic tools he's got, he's gonna step off the bus, if to borrow a football term, as a favorite in most of these bantamweight fights because he's huge for the weight class, big long reach. He is only 23 years old, and like I think we saw in the Vince Morales fight, Vince Morales is a junkyard dog, dude. He is hard to separate from. He's a hard guy to put away. And Smith, he gave Smith everything that he could handle in. He had him at a submission in that fight late. I just think Elijah, he's a son of a UFC fighter coming off the Contender Series. The Kazama fight was kind of a joke because Kazama's closer to a flyweight in terms of size. And then he fought Aaron Tal in the Contender Series, also fought at flyweight in UFC, actually just missed weight in Australia a couple months ago. So I now I'm so interested in this matchup because I feel like Su Young Yu is actually pretty good. We saw him fight Zhao Long really close, and the thing is that I don't know if he always takes the best game plan because he was able to out grapple AJ Cunningham when I would have thought it would have benefited him to strike. And he was able to outstrike Zhao Long when I thought it would have benefited him to maybe get him to the ground and look for submissions. So I don't know if his IQ is always 1,000% on the mark here, but I do think he's very good. 70% striking defense. If that can hold through 5 fights, it'll be 98th percentile in the division. Very, very good. So I think this is a pretty competitive fight where I would lean you at these odds, but Smith's hardware is just really hard to overcome.
Yeah. I see I see Elijah at -200 on Hard Rock, bro. I like that price.
Oh, that is a good price. I think I saw it -225 on FanDuel, so you're getting a big discount there. -215, it looks like.
Gotcha.
I might need to really dig in and see if I want to bet you because it seems that price is getting worse and worse.
Let me see what he is on Novig. He is actually
What?
-189, bro.
Wow.
-189 on Novig, guys. I'm gonna plug this right here. If you guys want to check out our new sponsor, this is seriously one of the best apps I've ever used. Like I got a 60-1 cycle at 70-1 on this app. It's literally elite. It's in 42 US states. Guys, check it out right now. Use code FIGHT. You get $50 to bet with for this weekend when you spend just $5. -189 is an insane price. I'm going to throw that in a parlay right now, truthfully.
It is one of the most advanced prediction markets for sports I've ever seen in terms of the options it gives you.
Yeah. And
I say that, I live in Texas, so I don't have a lot of particular options. It is peer-to-peer, it is social books, it is prediction markets. And like I was incredibly impressed. I used code Matty. You can also use code FIGHT with the show, however you want to join in. You can actually get $50 to play with for just a $5 deposit. So it's 90% off the actual deposit cost if you use that code. So it's a great deal if you just want to try it, see what it's about in your state. And I was super impressed with the offerings because there aren't a lot of prediction markets that'll give you props and stuff. So
yeah, it's like sportsbook UI for a prediction market. That's why I like it because betting on the prediction markets is just confusing for most sports bettors.
Yes. I mean, geez, sometimes betting on sports books is confusing with all the different odds and things they got, but yeah, definitely. So glad to plug Novig. And by the way, they're not paying me anything. I just said that because I don't know if they're paying Matty, but I genuinely do feel that way. Okay, we got our guy Big Maple Bets in here with a super chat. Had to drop in for the. Oh, we got another one first. Lucas Corns 37. Delgado KO, Mosquito decision, Petrino sub. 1803.
Not bad.
We'll have to look at that.
Big Maple Bets, consistent every episode. Tavares decision, Robertson sub, Delgado KO. 20-1's a nice number on that, bro.
God, I'm not sure I want to hop in on that Brad Tavares fight, bro. You're more.
I have no opinion on that fight.
Okay, I will hear what it is here in a second. So. Smith, I mean, if you get him at -189, that's a very different number than what we have on the screen. But I kind of lean you. I just there's something I think he's very polished and technical. I don't know.
Yeah.
All right. Why don't we move on to the next fight because we just got a Bia Mosquito mention. Oh, you taking pictures?
Yeah.
Elijah versus you. Wait, I'm fighting Elijah. Elijah versus you? Me? I got a few pounds on Elijah Smith, just not nearly the athleticism. Moving on to this women's bantamweight fight here with the Lady Goat, 10-time IBJJF. I knew I was going to mess that up. Champion Bia Mosquita. She's moved on to MMA. Really impressive debut against Irina Alekseeva. Her next test, Montse Rendon, coming off a win over Alice Pereira, who is not related to Alex. Just want to throw that out there again. So, Mosquito, one of the bigger favorites on the card. She's minus 590, Matty. Are you rolling with the submission specialist in this spot?
What's her sub price right now?
It's got to be crazy.
Probably minus 200. maybe minus 150 or something.
Plus 110.
Really?
That's crazy, dude.
That's not a trap. I don't know what is, bro. Hold on. Let me see my price.
You know what I like out of these numbers that I see at FanDuel, dude, pops up, and this is why we don't really go into the numbers so you get our live reactions to them, because like most of the time your gut instinct is correct if you look at a market. That Mosquito KO at 5-1 looks sick, dude. She was using elbows and stuff against Alekseeva. Rendon, really good submission defense. I'm pretty sure Montse hasn't been submitted as a pro.
Yeah, she's 7-1. She's fucking shredded, bro.
I like that KO from Mount, bro.
5-1 professionally and 7-1 on the scorecards. Every fight she's ever been in has gone the distance.
Very, very appropriate for women's bantamweight. Highest decision rate in UFC.
Bro, I mean, honestly, the decision at plus 210 is the value side to me on this fight.
Double chance fading submission would be plus 130 KO or points.
Yeah, I like the decision, bro.
Yeah.
210
But you do like Bia Mosquito here?
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, I like the decision for maybe a cycle leg, bro. I think plus 210 is a great number.
Yeah. I just, you know, it's interesting because you tell me this all the time, and I so agree with you. Numbers can lie. Montse Rendon on paper, 100% takedown defense. I went back all 6 attempts from Tamiris Vidal, and then in her last fight from Alice Pereira. Both of those ladies are strikers by trade. I think her entry-level takedown defense is fine. My concern is, what does it look like when she's got a BJJ world champion on top of her? You know what I mean?
For sure.
I think that's I think that's the scary part. And you know, if her BJJ's up to snuff, just the positioning, and when we saw Mosquito go to elbows, she nearly finished Alekseeva by TKO. I remember this because I was sweating 1-2 sub, and I thought for sure she was going to TKO her in that spot, but Alekseeva made it to the horn. I feel like maybe this is me clinging to what I thought Russian Ronda could be. I feel like Russian Ronda is better than Rendon.
I mean, that's fair.
Yeah, that's my super uneventful, irrelevant opinion about the very edge of women's bantamweight. How about that? Throwing hot takes out here from the sun.
Every sub is literally a rear naked choke, it looks like. Oh, she had an arm bar. Oh, that was Misha Tate in grappling, though. Every MMA sub was a rear naked choke.
For Mosquito?
Yeah.
Well, we know there's more in the bag.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, yeah, it's interesting. Brazilians don't have wrestling takedowns. They hug and trip. And that's another thing, is that, you know, the strikers, they had more of the traditional single double legs, and Mosquito will probably mix in judo throws and things of that nature. I got a question for you, though. Where does this fight go if for whatever reason Mosquito can't get the takedowns? Like, are you worried about the money line at all in that spot?
I mean, I'm not gonna have a bet at minus 190, but
yeah,
I don't know. I think it's probably still a pretty close fight, even if it's standing the whole 3 rounds.
I feel like Rendon is actually kind of bad on the feet. Like, the Pereira fight was wild to me, that Alice just couldn't throw a little more volume out there to pull ahead. I feel like Mosquito, honestly, with her powers and her very basic combination, I could easily see her, as long as she's not running into cardio issues, I could see her winning the stand-up here, which is where I think you get the odds where it is.
Yeah.
Because she'll get a reputation as just a specialist, but I think her regional tape was pretty good. So, all right, why don't we move forward? Because me examining women's bantamweight regional tape probably is not the best content for anybody. How about we move on to this bantamweight fight here? a fun with one with one of the stars of season 9 of the Contender Series. Etcher Sosa got a win on the Contender Series just a couple days after his father passed away. Super cool, emotional story. Taking on Luan Lacerda, who got his first UFC win over Simon Oliveira last October. So, Matty, what do you think about this matchup?
I like Sosa, but I don't have a lot of conviction here.
Yeah. Very different matchup for him, where Maxim Lee was this super long Brazilian prospect. Felt like sort of an inevitability that UFC was trying to hand him the contract. He had a couple of highlights in LFA, and then Sosa came out of nowhere to kind of spoil the party, landed 4 takedowns. I really thought Sosa's stand-up was pretty good in that fight, given what was expected to be the deficit there. And Lacerda, he comes off this fight with Simon Oliveira, where both of them didn't have a win going into that fight. It turned into sort of this Brazilian jiu-jitsu match where he was able to beat a guy who was historically had endurance and durability problems. Lacerda is still a guy that ultimately he couldn't tap Cody Stamann, which isn't the greatest testament to his BJJ ability in UFC. And then Damon Blackshear pieced him up and knocked him out in the second round via TKO. So, like, I feel like Sosa has a big edge in the stand-up here. And really the question is, does he have the tricks to survive the grappling? And he hasn't been subbed as a pro in 15 fights. So I kind of like Sosa in a longer fight here. He's a guy that I just think, it's tough when you get these guys coming out the Contender Series and I get fooled by them, right? Like I expected better from my guy, Luke Fernandez, who sold the safe parlay last week.
He fucking set. I knew it was going to be a bad day when Luke Fernandez got KO'd by Bellato, bro.
He was doing so well up to that point.
He looked great, and then what was most disappointing? I feel like he didn't have a lot of fight in him when he got hurt. Like he went to his back he went to his stomach and just covered up. I think if he would have stayed on his back there, he could have just survived for a little bit and kind of rallied. But he just shelled up on his stomach. I was like, fuck.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to recover there, but he was looking good until he wasn't.
Yeah. But even him or Rafael Tobias, I get fooled off the Contender Series a lot of times. We got a comment Sosa might be all hype. It's very true. And I guess the thing I'm a little more worried about is that performance after his dad had just passed away. That was like an out-of-body experience. And now what is he without that sort of adrenaline and situation? Because like I can only imagine the emotions he was going through at that point. Now what does it look like in a real debut against a pretty dangerous guy with his BJJ? But I just feel like this is so cliche. I think he's got that dog in him, man. There's something about Sosa that I think he's going to be successful.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. What's his decision prop?
Good question. We should have it.
It is.
So Sosa KO is plus 230, decision plus 290, and then sub plus 420.
290?
Yeah.
Oh wait, I'm looking at the wrong Sosa. Plus 275, yeah.
For points, yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting KO is favored there.
Yeah, that is interesting.
People sleep on Blackshear's stand-up, but I feel like Damon's better in the stand-up at this point than what I saw from Sosa, because there wasn't honestly a lot of stand-up in his Contender Series fight, so I was looking back at some of his older fights, and one of the concerns, like I mentioned, is that I feel like he did make a big leap onto the Contender Series from what you saw regional footage.
Yeah, no, for sure.
So I agree with that comment. Lacerda, very hittable, 46% striking defense, really, really poor.
Yeah.
So that's the concern if you take points, but what do we got? So KO or points is only minus 125 for Sosa. I actually think that's a pretty damn good number.
Mm-hmm.
Especially, yeah, I like that a lot. Okay. I found my angle there. Perfect. That's what we're looking for when we do this show. All right. Why don't we move on to this next one here at lightweight? We got Balaji Oki coming back once again, taking on Manuel Sosa. Matty, you remember cashing on Manuel Sosa on the Contender Series? I know you were with me because you and I couldn't believe he came back in the third round to come back from behind, win by knockout in a fight that he was laying prayed for the first 2 rounds. Now Sosa makes his UFC debut in a fight where it seems like he'll get to stand and bang a little bit more against Oki. So what do you think of this matchup, dude?
Mm-hmm. I mean, I kind of like Oki overall. Damn, Oki by KO is plus 450.
It's a big number.
Yeah. His decision's plus 700. And then Sosa decision is the most favorite outcome at plus 210. Yeah. I mean, Oki, dude, the problem is Oki he's just so up and down. I thought he was looking decent in the Chris Duncan fight till he got guillotined. I like his win over Michael Aswell. Mason Jones, he just got elbowed from Mount. Just tough. I mean, I think Sosa probably wins the decision here, but I think Oki's power on the feet could be live as well.
Yeah. I wanted to double check because as I was looking at the props there, FanDuel officially has Sosa decision and KO at the same number. It's plus 220. And then submission is 5-1. And I'm like, dang, that's curiously short. Well, I wonder why that is. Well, Sosa recorded 2 official submission attempts on the Contender Series, and that's typically how we've seen Oki lose. Mason Jones wrapped up a choke in round 2 against him in Oki's last fight, and then Chris Duncan. You remember he had our guy Chris Duncan on the ropes early in that fight, and Duncan was able to pull out that patented guillotine that Dustin Poirier taught him in the gym at ATT. So, I think that Sosa almost is in a buy low spot because his Contender Series fight went so not well. But at the same time, Oki is a really tough first matchup because he's a long, athletic dude. I generally feel pretty good about his chin. Now, he was dropped by Mason Jones in his last fight. I got to say, of the fights on this card, this is the one I'm having the toughest time reading. Other than the fact that you look at Oki's 2 wins in UFC in this division. Michael Aswell, who I like at 145, and Timmy Kwamba, who I don't like at 145. But they were both featherweights that stepped in on short notice. So he's yet to beat a lightweight on a full camp of any kind. And here's a dangerous guy in Sosa.
Yeah. I kind of like the sub, bro. 6-1.
It's 6-1. That's an even better number.
Yeah, 6-1 on Hard Rock.
Shoot. I really like that. Especially if we can find some KOs and points coming in a little shorter. Sosa's opponent on the Contender Series, bring that dude back. He was a monster. Perez, I think was his name. He was from Mexico. That guy was awesome. And it's a shame that he kind of gassed out toward the end because he almost pulled a huge upset. Under 1.5 live. What do we got the round prop at here? Under 2.5 is minus 124 on FanDuel. So under 1.5's got to be plus money of some sort.
Yeah, no, for sure. I might take a sprinkle on that sub prop, bro. He's got a Kimura. He's got a couple. He's got an Americana.
Yeah.
Kimura and a sub that's not listed back in 2020.
Yeah, I think Oki's ground game is really poor. So you're talking me into that same angle when I was like, man, that's kind of short. And then you look at it and you're like, actually, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, for sure.
I've been back, buddy. You got to tune in every Wednesday.
Yep.
We already got a cycle in the barn. You gotta keep up. Now we're gonna try to build quite a few more of them out here in 2026, including. Are we gonna build a cycle on the end of the show today?
I think we have to.
Okay. You asked and we delivered last week. I wasn't sure, but all right. Why don't we move on to this super interesting fight where we have 2 guys that were not fighting in this weight class a year ago. Mick Oral-By was at lightweight. Chris Curtis was at middleweight. And now they'll meet in the middle at 170. So it is an interesting fight. We already got a comment that said banger. I totally agree. We have 2 veterans that have been in some absolute dog fights. I can't wait for this fight, Matty. Action man back against Oral-By. Who you got here?
Bro, I really like Oral-By at 170.
Yeah.
I think he's got a lot of confidence right now, too. I like him a lot here against the aging Chris Curtis. I was hoping these odds weren't as wide as they are, so I'm kind of a little upset there. But I think Oral-By is live everywhere. KO, decision, submission. So I think he has every path to victory here. I think he can do more volume on the feet. I think he can find a knockout blow. I think Chris Curtis's takedown defense is obviously good, but Oral-By can mix in, can use the striking to set up takedowns, and I think he can get some unexpected takedowns of some of these striking exchanges, and then land some damage there. So I think he can win this fight any of the 3 ways.
Yeah. I definitely like Oral-By in general. I wish they'd stop throwing in these guys that I also really like and make it a little bit easier on me. But I cannot get out of my mental image. I think the massacring that Oral-By took at the hands of Mateusz Rebecki, where
it's the one bad luck for him for sure.
Yeah, it's like. And then Rebecki really hasn't been able to beat anybody else. And I think Rebecki's still a super talented guy. He's had some tough luck on the scorecards and everything. But, it is something that gives you a little pause when Jack Hermanson – what?
How's that lightweight?
Oral by Rebecki was at 155. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, he got Jack Hermanson in a similar spot. That was the first time Jack had cut to 170 in years. And frankly, I had a bet on Hermanson, and it looked like from the beginning that Jack's chin was kind of shot.
And it fight aged really well too.
Which one?
The Oris Medic fight.
Yes. That was his debut on short notice at 170 against Medic when we thought he was going to be a 155er. And like he's had weight issues, so he's going to stay here. The interesting thing I think it does come down to that entry-level takedown defense, because I think if Oral Black can't get takedowns here, Curtis is a guy, he's got a great jab, good uppercut. Like, he's got just all these great tools of anti-wrestling defense, and that should get better as he's moving down in weight. It certainly did in the Max Griffin fight. Now, Max Griffin's not a super impressive win at 170 here in 2026 or whatever it is, but I think it was a good show that Curtis's chin was good and he looked in good shape there, and he was able to come away with a win that a lot of times it feels like Curtis has been right on the verge of winning and then had it snatched from him. So a little bit of momentum. I kind of like this fight to go the distance. I've got it minus 147. I see it on FanDuel at minus 130. No, it's UFC in 2026, so a decision prop usually never a bad idea. But oral by decision then is plus 155. No thanks. Curtis decision is plus 420. I kind of figured I'd be there. Plus 258 is what I've got it modeled at. And I think that is his. If Curtis is able to stuff the takedowns, I kind of like him to win on points here.
Oral by round 3 is 10-1.
Is Curtis do you feel like Curtis has like gas tank issues though?
I just think it could be accumulation. And then we saw what fight was it? The Kopylov fight. That was crazy. 1 second left.
Yeah.
I should have went the distance.
Yeah, and frankly, if it did go the distance, I think Curtis could have still won the decision in the first 2 rounds.
Yeah.
Well, I think you got to be careful with plus 5.5. Really, a concern could be, say Curtis's takedown defense fails at some point. I'm not sure what he's got off his back compared to Oral by. Really sneaky submission game for Miktabek as well.
Yeah, good ground pound too.
We saw him in those scrambles against Elvis Brenner back in the day. Like, Oral by so well-rounded. He's so good. He's durable. He doesn't give up on his cell. He's just a hard guy to beat. I just feel like minus 290 is a little wide here.
It is for sure.
I've got it minus 197. That feels about right. But, that's favorites in 2026,
Yep.
All righty, buddy. Why don't we move on? Because you said you had a very strong take in this fight. I'm interested to hear what it is. I feel like it's kind of the Twilight Zone. Brad Tavares taking on Eric Anders in a matching bout of 38-year-old middleweights. What could possibly go wrong here? Really, these two have had these up and down runs even recently with UFC, but I found out this week, interestingly enough, I forgot this happened. Both of them have been UFC headliners. So we can complain about the quality of UFC cards, but both these guys have been in main events before. So, Matty, what do you think of this battle with Brad Tavares and Anders?
Call me crazy here, bro, but I like Brad Tavares by knockout plus 300.
Interesting. Give it to me. Give me the angle.
He hasn't had a fucking knockout in how many years, bro? His last knockout was a round 3 knockout in 2018. So he hasn't had a knockout in 8 years. That's actually sick, man. But I mean, he's fighting RoboCop, DDP. I hate that Bruno Silva round 1 loss. And then his round 3 loss. I'm more fading Eric Anders, 38 years old. They're both 38, but I think Eric Anders is kind of showing up for a paycheck here, and I think that Tavares can find the chin. I know it sounds crazy, but I think this is the one fight everyone's going to have going the distance, and I could see Tavares kind of putting it on him with an accumulation here.
Yeah, it's so interesting that you pointed that out. Tavares KO is like, why is it that short? It's been so long since he's
when I saw that number, I was like, it's so sneaky. He hasn't had a KO in 8 years, and his KO is only 3-1.
In general, it's been hard for me to get behind Brad because I do feel like his chin has sort of cracked, and like fighting some of the guys he's been fighting, like RoboCop, that was terrible to watch. And Duplessis, he actually fought well in that Dricus fight way before Dricus was Dricus. But like, I think when you saw it coming, the rally from Britchik in his last fight. and then the uneventful decision with GM3. It just feels like Brad is a little weathered to me. And Anders is, I guess, the same way, but you look, they threw him in there with CLD in his last fight. And before that, it was that dominant finish over Weidman, who was another old guy. So I just mathematically, where I put my head is Anders has fared maybe a little bit better on the senior tour, but model likes Anders here. I've got him 55.6% likely to win. Favorite prop is Anders KO. I've got it plus 359. It's plus 420. So we're opposite. Maybe we go fight ends KO if we throw it in a cycle at the end of the show.
It's so ugly, bro. Like I'm sitting here thinking, like, can I even bet Tavares KO? I mean, it's more of like a gut intuition play. I just have a weird feeling about it, but there's really nothing to back it up.
I'd support you if we decided to do KO a fight ends KO. And
down by KO is probably terrible.
It's plus 140.
It's like so bad, bro.
Yeah. I model at boring likes points minus 155, but that's kind of the value side. It feels like in a lot of these fights, but I don't know if I can trust both of these guys' chins to ever get there to play this fight to go the distance.
Yeah, I'm with you.
They've been knocked out recently way too many times. There's too much attrition here. So
fair.
All righty. Why don't we move on? Speaking of attrition, we got a little bit of it in this next fight. A couple flyweights in their 30s. Bruno Silva taking on Charles Energy Johnson. Quick turnaround for Energy after that first round loss. Cycle Parlay is going to hit this week. We love that positivity. Manifest that shit back in here. We love it. So we got Energy coming back. Quick turnaround off that early KO, and then Bruno Silva also coming off a finish. So, he actually got the win over Unsung Park, right, in his last fight.
Yeah.
He had fought Josh Van and who's the other guy that Bruno? Manel Kopp. Yeah, he was just on this murderer's row for a little bit there, but he got turned around against Park. So what do you think of this matchup, bro?
Bro, it's like, isn't this the kind of fight that Charles Johnson fucking loses?
Pretty much any fight that he's favored, you might be able to say that about. That's not against a hotshot 20-something prospect.
Weeks ago, he was not only knocked out, but beat down in round one. He took a lot of blows, and he's a big guy, cutting weight again off a bad knockout. Like, he should style on Bruno Silva. Like, if he just keeps his distance, he should easily win a 30-27. But, like, one moment can change the fight for Bruno Silva. I would look at the Cody Durden fight, and I'm like, Cody Durden was on the verge of knocking him out, and then he got knocked out. I kind of like this fight to end by KO. Honestly, I think either guy can get a KO here. I think if it's Johnson, it kind of happens in 2-3. If it's Silva, it's like 1-2. But let me see what that price is for the fight to end by KO, because you got a guy that's pretty durable in Johnson coming off of not his first knockout loss. And we obviously know Johnson can put away Bruno Silva as well. And I think I trust Charles Johnson's submission defense against Silva. So I think this fight to end by KO plus 170 is not a bad look.
Yeah, I kind of like violence here too, bro. I've got it plus 114. So I see a couple of plus 120s hanging out there. So I think that's a good price. And I think
price plus 170, you really just have to fear Silva sub threat, which I don't think is going to get Johnson.
Oh, you know what's really weird, dude? My model likes Johnson sub.
Oh god.
Like compared to odds, I've got it like 9-1. I'm sure it's much longer. Like Johnson subs 15-1 on FanDuel. It likes it. But you remember Johnson almost subbed as at Maxim when those two guys fought. I think his BJJ is kind of sneaky. Like he's fought these guys. What?
He has 4 submissions.
Yeah, and that's kind of what it's. It's not a big enough gap between KO and just general violence that I think I wouldn't just play it.
He starts hurting Silva on the feet and he shoots, he could get a front choke. I think that is 20-1.
So I think I prefer violence in general here.
Yeah.
And I would say that favors Johnson. I've got him 30% likely to find a finish versus Silva is 16.9%. CJ's just a tough guy to finish. I mean, he's just the Perez fight was nearly stunning, and the fact he's turning it around so quickly is a little concerning, right?
Final answer, under 2.5 plus 140. I'm in. I might sprinkle on that Charles Johnson sub, bro. You got me thinking on it now.
Yeah. It seems a little bit long, especially when you look at the physiological difference here. Really has 3 sub losses we got from one of them in an exhibition. Yeah. I mean, like, that's the stuff my model's looking at that, like, I don't remember it in consciousness, but, you know.
This is a pretty good super chat right here.
What do we got? What do we got?
Oral by decision, Asplin KO, and then a submission by Umar C. Wow. 35.
Yeah. Okay, you want to go back to the super chat before that, because we might as well answer his question. You paid $5 to send it to us.
What's the other one?
What are you guys' thoughts about all the hate UFC is getting in the media and by former fighters? I trust your opinions.
I mean, Austin and I would probably have a pretty different take on this.
I'm sure.
I think there's a lot of merit to it, but I think at the end of the day, people are always going to complain and bitch about things. There is some merit for sure. But everyone's still going to watch. Everyone's still going to fight. It's all just noise at the end of the day.
Yeah, this is an industry that has long. One of the things that made the NFL so successful is the AFL back in the 60s was a direct competitor where a lot of the teams came from, and it really made the NFL stronger and made it grow. UFC hasn't had a true competitor its entire consciousness, and that's why I think it's a good thing occasionally when you get these things like Rousey and Carano, and we're going to see Francis Ngannou against Felipe Lins of all people. That was a name drop,
bro.
Yeah.
If Felipe Lins survives 5 minutes, I will be shocked.
At the same time, if he survives 5 minutes, I might bet him live.
No.
I mean, Lins left UFC on a 4-fight winning streak. But back to his point, like, I agree with you, Matty. I think guys are overly cynical, but UFC in some ways does some of the things to themselves. They're a hugely growing company with how famous they are of sports culture and things like that compared to how much a lot of the fighters get paid. There probably is a discrepancy. They're not unionized like the NFL, the NBA, what have you. So I actually agree with Matty's take a lot, where some of it is valid and then some of it is totally unfair. Like ripping the White House card logistics and things like that is a little bit unfair, because it's one of the hardest jobs in the world is to get these guys to say yes and rely on John Jones and Conor McGregor to be constant forces for you. That's a shitty job, you know? So it's tough.
You saw Colby Covington speak out against the UFC. That's the first time he's ever bashed them.
Yeah, and talk about a guy that has been protected by UFC for so long, dude.
He said that he now is going to face the winner of Gilbert versus Mike Malott, which I'm glad the UFC's finally fucking throwing him to the wolves there. Like, not to the wolves, but like making him take a fight like that, because Colby kind of just like dictates what he wants to do. So we had Bo Nickel on the pod, and he said that Colby turned down a fight. But now I'm wondering, like, why is Colby not on that White House card? You know, is it a pay thing? Like, it just doesn't make sense, bro.
There is a little bit too much agenda pushing in UFC matchmaking nowadays, where if they truly didn't want to push an agenda and they wanted the best fight, we'd have O'Malley, Sandhagen, and Nickel Covington. Like, those would have been sick fights.
Yeah, it can't be a pay issue with Corey Sandhagen. You know he would have took that fight.
What'd you say?
Like with Corey Sandhagen, like,
oh gosh,
why would they not put Sandhagen versus O'Malley? Like, it can't be a pay thing.
Yeah, I don't. Who knows? Who really knows? You know.
All right, we got a super oral by
Reno
sub Jillian decision 38-1.
I'd be curious. We react that Jillian fight, see what ends up happening.
Yeah.
But so we both, I think, lean a little bit violent. I really just don't want to play Bruno. I played Jesus Aguilar last week, dude. I'm so tired of the size bullying thing. Like, I lose it. Aguilar had nothing for Sumi Darji just because he wasn't big enough.
Yeah. Maybe we'll rip some cards. We'll see. My vibes are pretty low right now. Oh, we got a crazy parlay. A 1-2
levels parlay.
Holy shit.
Delgado.
You gotta clarify what Souza that is. Let's say it around 3. Wow.
That's got to be Manuel. Are there multiple Sozas?
Yeah. Maybe the spelling's different.
It's just one. It's Manuel Sosa. This card.
Wait. No, I'm confused.
No Jacare this time.
Oh, Sosa. Yeah. Sosa and Souza. There you go.
Oh, I see what you're saying. I forgot. We got a Sosa and a Souza. Oh God, too funny. All right, I like that from Big Maple. Getting creative. Lacerda round 3 is a wild one. I don't know. Maybe Sosa gasses in his debut. We'll see. But before we move up onto the main card, guys, wanted to remind you a lot of good stuff going on. Homo Fight picks, HOF picks. Maddie's going to drop a link in the description. You can visit HOF picks on Instagram as well. Nolan and Hajive have been absolutely crushing it since the start of 2024. You can see a lot of the graphics, 2024, 2025, super profitable long-term. They're not guys that have a lot of these track results that are available, especially for free. If you use code HOSF, 7 days free. And these guys typically, I will say, I really struggle on Apex cards, Maddie. I think I look back, I think I've lost 8 Apex cards in a row. So my hot streak might be over. But Nolan and Hajive typically crush them. So I would get in on their picks this week. You can use code HOF 7 days free to do so. All right. Why don't we move on? Because we've already gotten a lot of shouts about this in the super chats and everything like that. It's the people's main event. Vitor Petrino taking on Steven Asplund, the self-proclaimed fat boy. I could use it because it's our word since I'm a fat boy as well. But Vitor coming back minus 250 here. It's a very interesting fight where I thought they would have wanted to push Asplund, and Petrino is no joke. So what do you think about this matchup, man?
Bro, I'm so torn on this because I kind of think the Asplund KO is live late here. But if Petrino grapples, I can see the submission. I kind of like violence either way. I think Asplund's fucking tough to deal with on the feet when he's just walking forward. And I think he kind of avalanche Petrino here, bro. I mean, but if Vitor gets him down early when they're dry, I think he can get an early submission. So I'm struggling with this one. I will say, I think from a money line perspective, I'm on the Asplund side. I don't trust Petrino. Don't have that dog in him, bro. I feel like he doesn't care when he loses. Sometimes he doesn't like take things that serious. And I think Asplund is like a cool story, and this guy is like could kind of make a run here at heavyweight. I don't know what his real ceiling is, but I don't know. Maybe the UFC knows what they're doing with this one.
Yeah. And I do this sometimes to my own peril and my own detriment, but I had to take a deep breath on Asplund because I really like him, and a lot of the early stats are promising, right? But at the same time, this guy went through Anthony Guarasaccio, who was knocked out again on the regional scene after the Contender Series when he fought him, and Sean Sharaf, who lost to Junior Talfa inside 10 minutes. So I really want to pump the brakes on the fact that this guy was also submitted by Denzel Freeman, who didn't land a single significant strike against Josh Hokett a couple weeks ago. It just feels like a really deep level of competition gap between the two of them. When Petrino's fought inside the rankings at 205, you had Tyson Pedro as one of his wins, and he was winning the Dustin Jacoby fight all arguably until that round 3, where Jacoby was able to kind of catch him. It really started a downward spiral from there because Anthony Smith submitted him, and then he moved up to heavyweight. If Petrino takes the right game plan here, I have zero idea how Steven Asplund wins this fight. But if he plays around at distance, like you said, I think Asplund is a guy that has dog in him and can come from behind, and he can win a boxing match in this fight. So Petrino will dictate a lot of this, but I think minus 250 is a fair price.
Yeah, I mean, I think if he gets him down early, bro, he can get on his back, and I think it'll be a wrap. But he has to get takedowns. Do you think Asplund's like significantly improved from that Freeman fight, though? Can you hear me?
I don't know why I'm having headphone issues again. God dang this man thing. Hold on one second.
That's crazy. Asplund by sub 22-1. That would be insane. Under 2.5 minus 165. It's not that bad. Vitor should be able to sub him, though. That's the thing. Vitor by sub's definitely a look for the cycle for sure. I don't know why he would strike with this guy. You got Austin Lane by choke, who's also a big dude. Chat likes the under 2.5. Only sub Aspen's getting is a meatball sub. Will you trust Vitor's lack of heart and fight IQ or Aspen's non-existing ground game? That's probably the best comment of the whole show right there. Yeah, Austin Lane isn't 500 pounds, but he's a big athletic guy. Vitor's going to fail looking for the sub early. Interesting. All right, guys, we're waiting on Austin here. What else you got? What else you got, chat? There you go. Austin's back.
I can hear you again too. I don't know what the heck's going on with this, man. I got a new dock. I don't even have my headphones plugged into my dock, and they keep dying. Like last 2 weeks, it was totally fine. I don't know. Maybe I need to contact Turtle Beach and get my money back. Don't sleep on the super chat. We were very close on the super chat last week. That came at the hands of Max as well. But it was a good super chat parlay. So, and by the way, that's the second time we've only been one leg off on the super chat because we had the fluffy sub in Houston that we were white ratting down to the last minute, and unfortunately didn't get that one either.
Yeah.
So we're getting close.
What's the
final take? Petrino round 1-2 sub.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. I think my heart is kind of with Aspen, but I think Petrino can get him out early. But I will say, if he doesn't lock it in, bro, Aspen round 3 is calling my name.
I mean, it's probably big enough you could sprinkle on it, right?
Let's take a look.
It's 22-1.
Oh, over just round.
That's just round, but you're right. Just take KO. KO is 25-1, so you get an extra 300 on there.
He said the only sub Aspen's getting is a meatball sub.
So if you want to throw that comment up, no model for this. You need minimum 35 octagon minutes, and Asplund is at like 10. So we'll get there at some point with him. But all right, on to this next fight, which I think Marwan Rahiki is on the main card because he was coming off one of the craziest Contender Series fights ever against Harry Hardwick, or against Malumba, the gentleman from Congo. That crazy fight, like 4 knockdowns total, ends up rallying from behind and knocking him out with elbows. And now he's getting a quote-unquote step back here to Harry Hardwick, who left his last fight in a wheelchair against Coway Fernandez. I'm a proud member of the Coway Fernandez fan club, but even that one was a little hard to watch for me. So, Matty, what do you think about this one with Rahiki coming back minus 265 or so?
I think he's a good favorite here. I don't think the price is honestly that bad.
He scares me to death, dude. The way he got absolutely flattened like 25 seconds into his last fight.
Yeah.
I will say from a technical perspective, Rahiki, the way he varies his weapons, his speed, I think they are all plus. But some of these guys, it's almost to me like he's sort of my fighter comp for him at 145 based on his frame and based on his weapons. He's kind of like Andre Fili to me.
That's fair.
Where like Fili will vary up his weapons, but what's the thing about Fili that always scares you a little bit? We're going to talk about Fili. He's actually, I think he's like the next fight up. And he's at a different level of his career, but his chin can get caught up in the air, and we've seen him knocked out by guys like Joe Anderson Prieto and Dan Ige. And now Hardwick is not a power puncher, so you think he'd get through this matchup, but I don't know. Something scares me a little here when Hardwick is coming back to his organic weight class, and Rahiki was dropped and nearly finished like 3 times on the Contender Series. And he's one of the most favorite picks this week. Like I've seen on TikTok today, all Rahiki's a lock and give me Rahiki round 1 and all this stuff. And typically that doesn't end very well. So I am scared of this fight and probably going to pass.
Yeah, I'm going to pass on this fight too, bro.
Is it that easy? Harry via wheelchair KO. He actually comes out in the wheelchair and runs him over. That'd be interesting. All right. How about this? I don't know. I don't think I want to pass here. This next fight up is very interesting with Andre Fili. I just mentioned him. I guess they even kind of look similar a little bit. I mean, Rahiki's got to get going on the tattoos if he's going to match what Andre Fili's got going on. Which, honestly, I got to say, top 10 tattoos in UFC, like Fili's got to be up there as far as like He's just got it. I like the way the piece looks all together there. Feely's good stuff. It's a lot different than bottom 10 tattoos. At number 10, I've got Darren Elkins with the worst tattoo in UFC. But hey, we'll talk tattoos at a different point here. We got Jose Delgado taking on Mr. Feely. What do you think of this matchup?
I think it's the easiest finish on the card for Jose Delgado, bro. I think he played the finish though because the sub is fucking live, like the chat is saying. I think if you're on the sub, you're just sweating that Feely just goes out cold, but that sub is so live, bro. Plus 500. I think I saw a plus 600 number somewhere. That's an insanely good price in this spot.
It's so short. Like, why do you guys? Let's see. Does Delgado doesn't have any recorded UFC submission attempts yet? Is it more regional stuff that maybe I haven't looked into yet?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, but because we saw Feely stick his neck right in a guillotine against Matty
I was like, I'm just betting this guy loses by sub every fight. Like that was the crazy. Delgado's 4 submissions regionally. He's got a rear naked choke. He's got a nice Darce.
Yeah.
Let's see, have rear naked. I think 3 rear naked chokes and a Darce. 3 or 4 rear naked chokes.
And Feely, theoretically, at least I believe this in this matchup, Feely's going to shoot. Correct? That's what I think.
Yeah.
I think that's the formula for why
exactly. That's why I think the sub's more live than ever.
So you're saying he's got a good front choke regionally, and Feely, I think, is going to shoot. And he's a guy that leaves his neck in precarious positions.
Yeah, exactly.
I can get on board.
And I think he can shoot when he's in danger too, when he's already hurt.
Yeah.
Nathaniel Wood, I will not tolerate any Nathaniel Wood slander, bro. Nathaniel Wood is a beast.
And if you look at the numbers in that fight, Delgado really kind of had him on the ropes in round 1, and it felt like he kind of tired out just from chasing the finish early, and then Nathaniel Wood. No, I think Wood beat Feely. It was like a split decision, but I thought Wood deserved the nod there. Delgado fight was very close, and you could have gone 29-28 Wood, and that would have been fine with me. Yeah. But that was a crazy first round with those guys. They both dropped each other. But Delgado, dude, I think he is this hurricane of knees and elbows early. I mean, he put Hyder Emil out cold, and so you have to worry about that. And then now we're learning about the front choke element. And even if this thing goes to a decision, I feel like Delgado in his volume lands over 4.3 significant strikes more per minute. Yeah. He probably is favored to win on the cards too. So
that price is short to me. I think it should be like minus 600.
Yeah. And Feely's coming off a fight against interesting. We got our boy JB in the chat. People sleeping on Feely.
That's crazy.
Feely sub at plus 2,500. When was Feely's last submission attempt, much less a submission? He had 2 attempts against Bill Algeo in 2022. And his last submission win came outside the UFC.
I like Jose Delgado a lot. I think he's legit.
Yeah, me too. I really liked I think early on I was a little bit skeptical because it felt like just this sort of regional bully. How would it translate to a higher level of competition? And he's just a really hard dude to be in there with early. I'm kind of looking at just like an early finish. Delgado round 1 plus 200, round 2's plus 400. Neither of those are super appealing.
Yeah, I mean, I think he gets it done round 1.
Yeah, it kind of feels that way. It kind of feels like a spot where you maybe sell Feely off a split decision win. Delgado looked really good against Wood, but didn't get the result. Like, I think you and I, this is maybe the most we've been aligned on a fight. It's usually my place to play a slimy dog like Feely. That's, a guy that you can get behind, but Delgado's really tough to take down too, because he's got great balance and he's got really long limbs. Like, we haven't really seen anyone deploy that effectively against him either.
Yeah, I think Feely's cooked wherever this fight goes.
All right, so we'll be back when Andre Feely wins 29-28.
It's pretty nice too.
Which one?
Under 1.5 plus money.
No way.
Yep. Well, that's what the screen. That's what the graphic says. Let me check.
I'll play Delgado round 1-2 at minus 110. That's fine with me.
Yeah.
I don't think Feely has a lot of early finish equity there. So I think I'd rather just side with Dugano. But why don't we move on here? We got 3 fights left. I was able to model all of them, starting up with this one. Umar C really trying to take a step in the light heavyweight rankings, taking on Iwan Kute Laba. The Hulk really, the Hulk coming off a fight. God, I don't want to get this wrong because I think I'm remembering. Do we have the order wrong here, by the way? Is this fight before the Rahiki fight? I just looked anyway. Cute Laba coming off a loss to Modestus Bukauskas, which I thought was kind of a robbery. I thought that was his last fight, but I couldn't remember if he had fought Aslan before or after that. Umar C coming off one of his best performances in UFC. He got a first round knockout of Brenjison Habero Matty. So Umar is minus 260 in this spot.
By the way, that was easy money. The Umar C KO was a nice price.
It was. And he's one of those guys, man, where he's capable of winning all 3 ways. So you kind of look at the prop market and really have to weigh the number.
Yeah, look at his 3 props. They're all in the same ballpark.
So what do you think about this matchup?
I like Umar C. I think this guy's legit. I was really looking at that KO price. I saw plus 400 on it. And I'm like, man, he's live with ground and pound and on the feet here. And it's almost double the sub price. The problem is Kutalaba does get subbed.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of what happens, especially when he wrestles. But I don't think like Umar C really has like good front chokes, right? It's more like just good grappling, and he gets a. Let me see what his subs have come by.
He got our guy Tuko Tokos' back.
Yeah. I mean, I also wouldn't be surprised if he wins like a 30-27. That's the problem. But he's 5-0 to the KO, 4-0 to the sub. Yeah, rear naked choke, rear naked choke, rear naked choke. It's all 4 subs are rear naked chokes.
Yeah.
That's why I think the KO, bro. I think the KO is where the value is on this fight, because he can easily get in full mount here and ring ground and pound.
Yeah.
And then I think he's live on the feet too. We've seen Kutalaba been chinned on the feet as well. So I kind of think the KO is where the value is here.
Yeah. Laba is kind of on this decision. It used to be it would be a lock that he would never find the scorecards. He's been to a decision in 3 of his last 4, some of them very weird fights and circumstances. I think my model's leaning into that recent what?
Johnny Walker got a rear naked choke on Kutalaba. I forgot about that one.
He did, and I feel like C is
I bet that Umar C KO price he's gonna rear naked choke him, bro.
Yeah.
Sub's the shortest prop, bro. It's probably hidden.
I like C decision, not just because it's my models read. I've got C decision plus 161, but because I think Cute Laba is probably improving. He's been training with Extreme Couture now for almost a couple years. And you know, I love that gym out there in Vegas with Eric Nixick. So I think Cute Laba, the reason he's been the distance more is because he's kind of started to sharpen his skills. He's always had the athleticism, but yeah, I do think he's kind of cooked in the grappling here with C, where C is a guy that is very much position over submission. He's very patient. That honestly cost him the Menafield fight, is that he was too deliberate in that fight. But I also think Umar is getting better, and he probably wins the stand up here. That's why I think the scary part about betting C is that if it goes to a decision, I think it'll be kind of sweaty, but I do think he still would get the nod.
Bro, I just saw the fight happen in my head. He's fucking rear naked choking him.
Yeah.
I just see it.
What is sub short?
So I was looking at this fight and the Petrino fight for the sub leg of the cycle.
Okay.
And I kind of feel like the Petrino fight's a more clear path for the sub, but I don't know that I trust him. And I feel like Umar C is just going to have the better grappling here. And, you know, and I feel like I think he has less danger coming at him. I mean, Kutalaba is dangerous, but like, I don't see Umar C getting chinned, whereas like I could see Petrino getting fucked up by Steven Asplin. You know, so like I feel like Umar C over 15 minutes can just get the right position here and get the sub. Like I said, I thought the KO is the best value here, but man, I just see that rear naked choke happen so clearly, especially when you see like Johnny Walker sub this guy by rear naked choke. I think Umar C's grappling just on another level.
Yeah.
Who do you think goes to the takedowns here? Because Kutalaba is probably just going to want to bang with this guy.
I
think
think
he probably goes to the takedowns.
I could see this being either a super low volume kickboxing match or C does try to get things to the ground because I think he's got a grappling
He has
advantage.
8-inch reach advantage, which is crazy. He's a huge
Yeah.
guy.
And
Those
C
arms on the chokes, bro.
and
I'm
C is
gonna make my cycle, bro. I'm really starting to see it so clearly right now.
I don't like it. I don't like it. Like I have sub plus 719, and it's not just because I'm looking at the numbers. It's just because I think QT Lava's improved since those results against like Ryan Spann. Yeah, that is he does train with BSD, which is just I mean BSD is a monster on the ground, kind of a different weight tier, but
Yeah, he could get guillotined if he shoots too. I forgot about the Ryan Spann guillotine. That Ryan Spann guillotine's nasty though.
it is.
Can't get past the Johnny Walker rear naked choke, bro.
Do you trust C yet though?
I do now, but I think he's been tested now. Like the loss against Alonzo Menefield was kind of like what he needed. I feel like then he comes out and gets a dominant win over Benson Ribeiro.
Yeah.
I think this is a perfect submission spot for him, bro. I know it's not model approved, but I think I have to try my gut here.
Okay. I mean, I gotta let you do your thing, man. I
Plus 240. That's not bad.
what is?
I can get plus 240 on it.
That's a better number than you got at FanDuel. FanDuel's plus 220, so that helps.
Let me see what Novig is.
I gotta tell you, having C decision here is gonna be now. I already laid him in my CLV parlay, so like my favorite angle here is just money line because I think he can win a lot of different ways. But having C decision is going to be such a sweat one way or another because Q-Delab is prone to get hurt. You have the sub danger that you're falling in love with. It's just going to
it was the Max Holloway fight. Like I took the fucking decision just to torture myself. It's like,
yeah,
it's so sick.
yeah. And there's a little bit of me that doesn't fully trust Umar yet, but when we saw him fight Menefield. Now, I think Menefield's better than Laba. Yeah. So, but yeah, interesting fight. I'm surprised that you came away on sub because you were talking to me earlier about the KO, but
I just see the rear naked choke so fucking clearly in my head right now.
Yeah. I mean, Johnny Walker got one, so anything's live. But we'll go to the co-main event here. We got women's strawweight Jillian Robertson taking on Amanda Lemos. This a re-racked fight last fall. It was supposed to be at the Apex, but Lemos ended up pulling out. UFC wanted to keep this matchup together. If I remember correctly, you and I were both pro Savage on that one. Have you changed your opinion at all as these ladies now a little bit older and wiser through an additional training camp?
Jillian Robertson by decision. Don't ever think it. Period. End of story.
Let's see. What's the number?
Plus 175.
I'm close. I got plus 184.
Yeah.
You want to throw that comment up? Has a long shot ever hit? Bro, we literally hit one last week at like 40 to 1.
Boys, the level of disrespect.
We hit one last week at 40 to 1. The clip is on social media. We live in a post-news society, but yeah, it's
4 cycle parlays, but no one gives a fuck because all I've done is lost the past 2 months.
Yeah, I'm taking a look. So what do we got for the other props here? Lemos points plus 310, not seeing value. Robertson sub plus 320, not seeing value.
Takedowns at will, bro. You just have to sweat whether she subs her. But Amanda Lemos can survive. Jillian by decision.
Yeah, this fight's kind of gross to me from a betting perspective. I remember I got Robertson at like minus 180 very early in the week when this matchup was first booked, but now it's been rebooked around like minus 210. I think it is a big number when we've seen Jillian against larger, stronger opponents kind of sometimes struggle. She got kept at distance against Tabitha Ricci, so that is a little concerning, but frankly, at this point, Bobby Green, Austin's been feeding. I appreciate that. I didn't call Green KO though. I had points and money line, so it's kind of a sprinkle. But yeah, I mean, like Lemos is someone you and I have backed before. I think she's kind of a tough out. I am a little bit afraid to play minus 210 with Jillian on the basis maybe she gets stuck at distance or whatever. But I basically have nothing within. I don't have a single playable prop with where I sit with this fight. I have Robertson minus 157. So I guess you could play Lamo shit money line at very, very extreme numbers. But
The people want a female cycle, and I have the craziest one ever that I think you're gonna fucking like.
this is your lab, so give it to me.
It's a crazy long shot, but it's insanely good. Hold on,
Okay.
let me cook this real quick. All right, Jillian Robertson by decision plus 175.
Okay.
Mia Mosquito by KO plus 550.
I do like that Mosquito.
By submission plus 1400. 267 the one, boys.
Oh, I forgot to mention this with the Sam Hughes thing. It is a giant red flag that Piera Rodriguez is a ground-based fighter. She went through 3 of the worst grapplers in the entire division. She still has never recorded a submission attempt. And Jillian choked her out in round 2.
I'm literally going to the counter after this to bet that.
I totally forgot about that Hughes submission sprinkle, bro. I'm so glad you mentioned it. It was in my write-up, which is a good plug for if I ever forget to say something on this show, you visit homeoffight.com on Fridays. I do a full notebook deep dive. And I actually, Matty, you know what I have Sam Hughes sub at? 14-1.
Perfect. Bro, you know what is if the first 2 long shot legs hit plus 550 and plus 1400, and then you're sweating Jillian by decision, and she's fucking in full mount on this girl.
Oh, yeah.
Please don't KO her. Please don't submit her. And, oh, my God. Bro, no vig. Actually, no, this number's actually better on Hard Rock, which is rare. No vig's usually better. But, yeah, 267. Dude, $1,000.
Who is a better women's strawweight fighter in 2026? Jillian Robinson or Tatiana Suarez? I think it's Jillian, dude. And Suarez just dominated Lemos.
Yeah.
I mean, Suarez has stand-up limitations herself.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they're pretty equal, pretty even. I mean, Jillian is better jiu-jitsu and Suarez is better wrestling, but I think they kind of even themselves out.
Yeah.
Bro, I'm literally putting out that women's cycle parlay.
I'll tell you what. I think the one you put up there, Matty, like on the screen, that's not what you cooked, right? You had a different one.
I know. Yeah, so Bia Mosquito by KO plus 550, Sam Hughes by submission plus 1400, Jillian Robertson by decision. It's pretty much like the 3 like contrarian plays on those 3 ladies, you know, because like
fuck it, man, I'll play it with you. Like the Robertson and Hughes numbers, I'm dead on with odds makers, so like I wouldn't play them normally, but shit, why not? If just to ride with the show all female cycle.
I'm gonna put it in the chat.
If we're going Hughes sub, we got to do 2-3 sub sprinkles too, right?
Yeah,
it's got to be late.
There it is, girls. If you want to retire your entire bloodline, this is the parlay for you, the female cycle parlay.
Nobody's ever allowed to chirp at you ever again if that
this shit bets, I can lose 266 bets in a row, and I'm still up money, boys.
Yeah. I'm so glad you remembered, because I pulled that earlier today. I'm like, you know who the last guy was that we put in a cycle that I told you about that red flag? Was Robert Whitaker. And I was like, Robert Whitaker has never recorded a submission attempt. It is the weirdest thing. And then he got subbed by Hamzat in that very next card.
Yeah.
So I thought you liked to be a decision. Yeah, but this is Matty's listening. JB says he thought you liked to be a decision. He's listening to me on the KO, and we needed a KO.
Okay.
I love that ground and pound in that Rendon fight, dude. I think she's gonna.
The reason I like the decision is because that chick can defend the submissions, but it kind of do the KO.
I'm gonna play sub decision for Mosquito, and I'm gonna play KO, and probably 1-2 KO.
Yeah.
Those BJJ guys and gals, I get a little worried about the cardio, so yeah. I like to play early.
I just see myself hitting those first 2 legs and sweat.
Before I forget, Home of Fight YouTube, we got a Jillian Robertson interview. She's hanging out at one of my favorite UFC gyms at the Goat Shed. And with all, I'm sure Jake maybe asked her about that for me as well. Jillian Robertson interview, Home of Fight YouTube. Jake is throwing out awesome interviews every week, as well as we're putting some of them on homeoffight.com as well. So make sure to visit those places if you want cool fighter interviews. Main event time? Sam wins is probably a robbery decision. Okay, main event time, and it is an interesting one from a betting perspective because Matty, we have been unapologetically Kevin Vallejos fan. Like I've tweeted about this dude. I was like, man, he is really, really good, and I don't want that John Silver result in the Contender Series to go against him. And then he gets back and he wins in dominant fashion. He's really dominated his whole UFC tenure thus far, all the way into the rankings, even surprising me with a knockout of Giga Chikadze. So now, what's the next step? It's a main event against Josh Emmett here, who, by the way, no beard this week. Going with a little bit of a throwback for Josh Emmett, a guy I've always really liked as well. So, Matty Vallejos minus 590 here. So
Insane, bro.
I think we'll both pass on the money line probably. But what's your angle as far as method of victory? I'm thinking about a dog shot here.
Are you? Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, to me, it's like, are you playing the Kevin KO or are you playing the Kevin decision? If you're playing the Kevin decision, you got to trust the 41-year-old Josh Emmett, who got 10-7 against Ilia Topuria in a round and beat down for 5 rounds. You're counting against a guy that got subbed in round 1, which I don't really think Kevin really is going to threaten there at all. But, I mean, this guy's boxing is so clean and crisp. It's like you got to trust Josh Emmett to survive for 5 rounds, which I think he can, and I think the value is on the plus 240. But, man, 25 minutes of that is just brutal to sweat. So it's just a matter of, do you like the KO or the decision prop better based on the numbers?
Yeah, I like Vallejos' decision. I got it plus 139. It really looks at when Emmett has lost inside the distance. He got quick tapped by Zawal, got tapped from top position by Yair. What's up?
I cashed on that.
Yes, yeah. I had Zalal sub 1-2 there as well. And then Yair Rodriguez got him from top position in that interim title fight years ago as well. Yeah. But like you mentioned, Ilia Topuria, the Lerone Murphy fight, he was actually able to get some of his takedowns going. And I don't think of Vallejos as a guy that has crazy power. He found a great shot against Chikadze. I always was worried a little bit about Giga's fragility, especially as he's aged. I feel like Emmett is a super tough guy. That has done really, really well with these sort of younger, faster strikers, good chin. I don't think he actually has the volume at this point to win and compete, but I think he can put another great performance out there.
Yeah, I think Josh Emmett's KO or bust here. So if you were to play the Josh Emmett side, 8-1 on the knockout. Like, even if you watch that Topuria fight, he was throwing haymakers that Topuria would just like shoulder roll and like come this close to him. So you got to think Emmett can get beat up here, but can still find a big shot on Kevin's chin. Dude's 24 years old.
Yeah.
He's 17-1 professionally, but Emmett is always live for that KO. I was at the event when Bryce Mitchell, I thought, was dead. Like, I thought the dude literally died on the spot. It was such a fucking brutal knockout. So Emmett is live here for a KO, but we've never really seen any durability issues with Kevin. And his box is just way cleaner and crisper. He's faster. He's more accurate. I think really Josh just has a power advantage, and that's really it here.
We got a good comment. I do wonder a little bit about Vallejos' wrestling, but at the same time, do you really want to bank up on a 41-year-old dude who has fought most of his career as a striker, now executing a wrestle heavy game?
Doesn't want to wrestle, bro. Let's be real. Like, I
mean, he had to against Lerone Murphy, or he's going to get pieced up. Yeah. And you know, he did a fine job of that in spots, but it's like, can he survive doing that? Yes, but also another reason I love Vallejos' decision here is because it's his first 5-round fight, may save a little bit in the tank early versus sitting down on his punches with full force early, and really think that there might be that extra duration coming.
So Kevin has 2 rear naked chokes. One is stand-in. Well, back
really?
in 22. It's not out of the question that he beats him up and gets his back. I mean, it's really not out of the question here. When you saw Josh Emmett subbed by Yair Rodriguez, the Uses Allow fight. By the way, you see Uses Allow's fight in Aljamain? That's a great matchup.
Holy guaco. Oh, it's probably a main event then, right?
I think so.
Oh, it was. That's the one that got promoted because the Sean Brady fight moved with Buckley.
I'm not sure.
It moved to a different date. I just saw that today.
Michael Champion.
Okay. No, we're done with Michael.
Okay, bro.
They definitely preparing for that KO punch from Emmett. Yeah. But so I by the way, I have sub for Vallejos at 35-1. It's an analytical model, so it hasn't seen anything from Vallejos other than a couple of regional stuff that it can cling to.
Yeah, but it's something to think about if you're considering taking Kevin KO. Maybe you just look at the finish prop.
Number's weirdly short. Plus 650 is weirdly short, but I think a lot of that is Emmett and how he's
It's
lost.
just Emmett who he's been subbed by. That Rodriguez sub was embarrassing in my view.
Yes, I agree. And by the way, if Vallejo shows the well-roundedness to actually go out and submit Emmett, who's, he's been in there with a lot of guys that didn't sub him, that's another notch in his cap as a prospect.
Yeah.
Have I talked you into Vallejo's decision at all?
I don't mind it. It's just the age for Josh Emmett, bro.
Yeah, I'm basically opposite odds makers.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've got decision plus 139, KO plus 310.
Oh, see, they're pretty much reversed.
Yeah.
Wow.
Which, by the way, shows how much I really like Vallejos to win here. Not minus 600 much, but
yeah,
one of the bigger favorites I've had this
like
year.
Emmett is literally KO or bust here. I'm sorry.
Emmett is?
Yeah.
I agree with you because he doesn't have the volume to win a decision.
Yeah.
Wow, we're weirdly in tune there. Maybe we can. I feel like we already built the long shot parlay, but I was like, I'm formulating. Like, I got to get back on the wagon with the safe parlay. So why don't we build some parlays, buddy?
Let's go. Well, we already built a female cycle.
Oh, I thought we were gonna have her intro. That's my bad.
All right. I'm not gonna build my cycle because I think we're gonna disagree on the sub leg. Why don't you build your safe parlay?
Oh, okay. Man, do I change up the formula just because it didn't work for me?
No.
Because I felt so good about Luke Fernandez, and I really liked him as a prospect. It's a shame that happened, but he'll be back better than ever. Let me see.
You can just go Jose Delgado by finish and Vallejo's money line.
What's crazy is I'm not laying minus 600, but I actually was looking at what is Delgado inside
minus 135.
I've got minus 165 on it. Let me build on Hard Rock.
Bro, minus 135, not a fucking steal. Like, what am I missing?
That's a great number. Man, but do I really want to play a finish prop in my safe parlay in 26? I've got some thoughts. Maybe I'll save them for TikTok Live about
Out on the money line.
There was something that happened in October 2023 that is the reason that there are all of these decisions now, and it's not gloves.
I already got your safe parlay for you. You can't disagree.
Okay.
Ready?
Okay.
Delgado money line, Jillian Robertson money line, minus 108.
I don't like Robertson's money line, to be honest with you. If anything,
it's actually better than Tatiana Suarez. What am I missing?
Delgado, let's see. Delgado minus 350 is a pretty friendly number there.
I like it, yeah.
And then there was a total that I really, really liked that we talked about earlier.
Was it Curtis Orlby or?
It was Kurt. I think it was Curtis Orlby.
Or you go violence in the Charles Johnson fight. Well, no, that's going to make it a not safe parlay.
Sometimes we take risks around here. What is Curtis Orlby to go the distance? It's.
I mean, bro, if you have. Oh, let's see.
It's minus 135 to go the distance.
I mean, you can just take. Yeah.
Oh, dude, that's pretty good. Delgado money line and Curtis Orlby. Instead of goes the distance, should I do a starts?
2.5, over 2.5. I feel like that last 2.5 minutes in that fight's gonna be sweaty as fuck, bro.
Oh, okay. How about this? Delgado. Yeah, Delgado money line and Curtis Orlby reaches round 3 is minus 115.
Done.
I like that. That's my safe parlay this week. And I've been printing those totals there. Fernandez ended up not doing so well, but the totals have still been hot. And that number minus 115 is at Hard Rock. As always, I'm going to shop that before it's an official play. And then, so are we giving out the women's cycle as our official show long shot?
No, I cook a cycle, but You're not gonna like the sub play though.
Can you please just take Petrino sub for me? One time, if you just trust me because I've been cooking recently, can you just trust me and take Petrino sub, dude? Just play Asplund round 3 straight, small somewhere else.
I mean, if I do 2 cycles, I can do Petrino by sub in one of them and Umar C by sub another one. I just trust Umar C to get it over Petrino, and I was opposite before the show.
Yeah.
But the more I thought through it,
the more you overthought it, you mean?
Well, only time will tell.
What? Give me a decision you like, bud.
I kind of like oral by, but man, I'm scared that Chris Curtis fucking gets hurt late. Oral by decisions plus 145.
Oh, but how about just fight ends? Fight goes the distance.
You know what I was going to tell you is like I'm so tired of having fighters to win by decision in the cycle, bro. Because the more I've thought about things, it's like it is such torture to root for a guy to win a fight but not win too easily. Like,
I remember that from your live stream.
I think my cycles moving forward, I'm just gonna take a fight to go to the decision in the cycles because I'm just torturing myself. I'm like, Max Holloway, please don't knock out Charles, just piece him up for 5 rounds. It's literally torture. And then it's like, and then after they drop a round or 2, you're already cooked. You know, and it's like, but at the same time, 3 of my cycle parlays that have hit have been main events fighter by decision. I had Roman Dolidze over Marvin Vettori by decision, the cash 100 grand. I had what's the one in Paris?
Did you hit cycle in Paris?
185. Kyle Braulio versus
Imavov. Yeah.
I had Imavov by decision to win 117K.
Yeah.
And then I had what was the other main event? Islam Makhachev by decision over JDM to win 100K. So 3 of my 6-figure parlays, the last leg has been a main event by decision.
Really?
Isn't that crazy? 5 rounds for the last leg by one fighter to win by decision.
You know why? Yeah, I mean,
psychologically, I don't want to do it anymore.
These books, you say that as like I'm building here. Like I was gonna give you a suggestion, and here the decision was Vallejos, so maybe I look somewhere else. What? But you're done?
I don't mind doing it because I don't think Emmett has any win equity by decision. Whereas, like, I guess you say the same thing about Oliveira, though.
I gave you Oliveira decision last week. I was like, I thought he could have stolen rounds with the backpack.
Yeah.
But how about this? I threw this together. Just let me throw it to the committee, the 1-person cycle committee. Vallejos points, Petrino sub, Anders Tavares ends KO. It's 30-1.
Not bad. Not bad at all.
That might be might be the official cycle that I play. That I'll play through. But honestly, if it were just me and if you're not going to play it, I'm going to play Anders KO instead and make it 65-1.
Yeah.
Because that's what my bottle likes.
Bro, I want to take Delgado KO, but man, I fucking feel he always gets sucked.
If we're doing like a true model approval cycle, I would go probably Chris Curtis points instead of Vallejos because it's plus 420. It's 100-1. That's crazy. But I feel like if Curtis is going to win that fight, it's points.
Charles Johnson KOs plus 300, bro. That's insane.
We got another super chat in here from Fleeked My Seed 4151. Asplund KO, Umar sub, Jillian decision.
Oh my! I love that. That's gonna be the one I pick.
So that's the super chat parlay you're picking.
I'm picking it. Yeah.
Well done, pandering to Matty. You got selected. That $50 is going on that from him.
Oh yeah, I'm putting that in for him. I'm putting it in right now on Novig. Hold on. Let me see what number we get. All right.
Follow your heart, not a model. I don't know. My model's up 29 units in the last 3 weeks, so I think I'm going to stick with it.
Aspen KO, Umar sub. And Jillian Robertson by decision. 30 plus 3,900, bro. 100 pays $4,000.
And half of it's his.
Yep.
Did you just put it in?
All right.
Boom.
On Novig, boys. You
Awesome.
guys, any cycle parlay you want on the Novig app right now, use code FIGHT or use code Matty. Either way, spend $5, get $50 to bet with. Literally, just deposit $5. You can bet a $50 long shot parlay for $5.
I'm about to do that. I'm about to do that right now.
It's in 42 U.S. states, boys. So chances are, if you live in the U.S., you can use the app.
So no official show cycle. You're not going to let me go back to back?
I mean, I'm down the Rodgers.
Oh, no, you just played Asplin KO. So why would you play Petrino sub in another primary cycle?
Yeah.
You've made your bed, and now you have to lie.
I don't trust Vitor Petrino. Something about him. I just don't trust him. Asplin's kind of like the guy right now. I just feel like he's improved so much. His story's really good. I know he's going to be in danger if it goes to the ground early, but I just see him rallying, bro. He's a big boy.
He does have an ability to fight through. But
and he's got cardio too for his size. Like, I think his cardio is better than Petrino's, and he's going to be marching forward in rounds 2 and 3.
Yeah,
he just got to. I think he's got to survive round 1 with the ground game.
There are some sick matchups on this card, so it was a lot of fun to go through it with you. I think we uncovered a few little angles here and there that I've been jotting down in my notes. So my full betting card will be out Friday, as well as I'll have my full write up on homeoffight.com. Matty, when are we expecting the official cycle to go live?
By Friday.
Friday. It's always Fight Friday around here, but we appreciate you guys tuning in to this week's show. I'm virtually certain we have a fight next week. I think it's even bigger than this one. I'm double check. I really should look. I kind of look one Prism week at a time. With this
London
stuff.
next week.
Oh, that's right. That's right. Huge card with Murphy, and then I thought. Oh yeah. Well, we have deletes. Is this bout order correct? Is Luke Riley really the co-main event next week? Luke Riley of all people. Am I putting disrespect on Luke Riley's name?
That's been the word on the street, and there's been some controversy behind it.
Well, yeah, he's a super popular guy that side of the pond, and he's a good prospect, so it kind of makes sense. But yeah, it'll be a great card from London with Movsariev Loyev coming back. Matty, it'll be fun to model that one when those guys are both undefeated. But until next Wednesday, we appreciate all you guys' support. Thank you for liking the stream, sharing wherever you might be, and kicking it with us each and every Wednesday. Hope all your bets cash. Best of luck to all of you this weekend, and we'll see you right back here in a week's time.